Welcome back, my favorite Python programmers, to a brand new video, and in this one we're going to be exploring the difference between local and global variables. This is something that one of my students asked of me to explain, or not one of my students, one of the YouTube viewers, but I consider you all my students. Remind me later. I consider you all my students, and they asked me, what is variable scope? And I'm going to show you a very simple example for you to understand the difference between local and global and how the scope of a variable, like where or how, what's its extent of use, like where can we use a variable once we define it, in which areas. So if you look right here, we have some commented out code, but don't worry about that. For now, let's focus right here. So we have this function that we've defined, that is my function local, of course with underscores in between, and inside we've defined a local variable to that function, and it's I am local, so it's a string, nothing too complicated, and basically we print out the local variable. Then we call the function, and then we try to print out the local variable, but as you can see, we have a red squiggly line which says unresolved reference local var, which means that there's no reference to this variable. Like, where is it? We're trying to print it out, but we can't see it anywhere. So when I right click and I run, as you can see, I do get an error, but right here I have this I am local, and this is the printout of the following line, because we did call the function and we did print out the local variable, but when we tried to print it out outside of the actual function, we got an error. Why? Because its scope ends within this function. So we've defined this variable inside of my function local. We tried to use it on the outside. It did not go well because it was only local. It was only available to the my function local function. So let's look at how a global variable behaves. So I'm going to comment all of this out. And by the way, if you are watching, make sure to follow me on Instagram. That's the most important place, because I give you tips on how to actually learn and how to progress, and what are the key aspects that students have followed in order to properly understand Python. You can follow me there, and I will tell you other things at the end. But right here we have the global variable. So I am global. This is a variable that is a string, and it says I am global. And what we're doing is we have another function that is myfunc global, or my function global, and inside we're printing out the global variable. And as you can see, we don't have any errors. And then we have my function global being called, which should print out the global variable, and then we are printing out the global variable in itself. So I right click, I run, and as you can see, I get two I am globals. And this works because whenever you define a function, whenever you define a variable outside of a function, it can be used anywhere throughout the script. So we've defined this right here at the top. You can use it anywhere inside of functions, inside of wherever. And it doesn't even have to be before the function was defined. You can even define it right here, or create the variable under the function, right click and run, the same result holds true. So that is not an issue. But whenever you define a function within whenever you define a variable within a function, you cannot use it on the outside. That is very important. And this holds true for methods that are inside of classes, and certain attributes you can also, or you can't access them outside of that class. So I hope you enjoyed. Any questions? Leave them in the comments. Any suggestions for code you want me to break down, or quizzes you want me to go through? I've been doing quizzes from time to time, if you'll notice my other videos. And also one thing, I have a Python Teaching Institute where I take students from complete beginners that don't know how to write a single line of code, and I take them step by step to becoming software developers. They go through very simple things, challenges at every step, and they get to exercises, projects, and then complex projects. You can't see my hand, but yeah, it's very, very hard, complex projects that are real world projects that you can add to your portfolio, and I'm adding these projects constantly. So if you want to do that, make sure to follow the links that I have in the description if you want to follow me, you can also follow those things in the description. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, share it, comment. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.